my teeth.
Everyone saw that coming.
Just like they saw Fold'em.
No, that's not. We were in a conversation about 16 carriages because someone's being a friggin' hater.
I'm sorry, I'm just being honest.
That's okay. Hi everyone, I'm your host Pilar, and welcome back to Pal Talks. Who am I with, and what do you do?
Hi, my name is Brandon Borkowski, and what I do is perform in every medium that you want. I'm an actor, singer, and dancer, and rapper, and recording artist. And I also used to do visual arts, and I'm also a gymnast, an acrobatic person, and I like to cook in my free time.
I was trying to figure out, because I was like, oh, triple threat, but I'm like, what's it? That was 9 things.
I'm playing around.
So what is it like to be, and what's is it nintuple? What's the, because you know how there's octo is 8, what's 9?
A Renaissance man.
So I have to know, as a Renaissance man, what items of popular culture related to Renaissance have you partaken in?
Related to Renaissance? Can you be more specific what you mean by related to Renaissance?
No, that was the point, was the ambiguity of that, because
Okay.
there's Beyonce's Renaissance,
Yes.
there's the Renaissance, the Renaissance,
My mind went to
a
both.
fair,
Uh-huh.
or the Renaissance when it comes to painting and stuff like
Okay.
that, or even a Renaissance within yourself. The Renaissance isn't just being a well-rounded man. What types of Renaissance in the word, and how it can be seen and dealt with,
Okay.
do you feel you relate to or have you partaken in?
Well, I always thought about how in schools, should I hold this or?
You can, yeah. You're the first one to want to hold it. I'm I just kind of.
In schools, they always talk about Leonardo da Vinci. Why do they talk about Leonardo da Vinci? This man lived.
Da Vinci.
That's what I said. Thousands of years ago, and they still talk about his contributions in both art and science. And I always took inspiration from that because people often tell you, oh, you can only focus on one thing. I've seen this man who we still celebrate his legacy, who has done everything, even outside the arts, you know what I mean? So I say, when I think of myself and how I develop what I like to do, I don't put limits.
How was it that you found the things that you like to do? So was it you saw something on TV, or because you are such a well-rounded person, you have so many interests, but is there a spark or maybe a person that inspired you to go down this track?
Interesting. I was always dancing, just who I was surrounded with, where I came from family-wise, we were always dancing. There was always
Where'd you
music
come
around.
from?
I'm Dominican by heritage. I'm half Dominican, and so always music in the house. My mama would grab me before I could walk, and you got a little thing where they hold you against each other, cha-cha-cha. And so I was always doing that. She put me in gymnastics classes when I was younger, so I had the strength to continue and explore on my own. And from dancing, I got into shows, and then from shows, I got lines. And then that introduced me to acting. The first time I did acting for real was I got a scholarship to do a Northwestern program. And we had a class. And in that class, it was kind of it was Meisner. And that's a style of acting technique which you can learn a lot about yourself if you practice. And in that moment where I was in that class, I learned a lot about myself that I wasn't previously privy to. In terms of introspection, I'm yo, this is maybe not be therapy, but this is very therapeutic. And because I felt healed after taking that class, I was this is something that I want to take with me just in life. So I started to study it in college.
Obviously, you're on a journey, you've been on a journey, but I think you're at a really beautiful place where you just know yourself, know what you want to do, and all that good stuff. But at the start, there probably was some I feel lost, or even how you said you might have felt initially pigeonholed. So can you just walk us through your journey of you truly finding your independence, your own, marching to the beat of your own drum, finding your own lane?
So I'm from Brooklyn.
BK. Baby.
BK. I'm of Latin descent. And so oftentimes I've been put in these institutions of classical spaces. And for example, I went to high school as a dance major where we learned concert dance, which is modern and ballet.
Okay.
And so a lot of those are classical, sort of cultures that don't make room for others, right? And so a lot of times I felt stifled in what I was allowed to present, how I was allowed to present myself, because the way that I grew up was not necessarily reflected in the spaces that I was living in. And so I took that with me, unfortunately. We take what we learn with us. And I went to college and I'm how am I gonna be an actor if nobody wants to see me in the space? If the way that I talk normally is a problem because it doesn't fit the standard of what other people have in mind, how am I gonna get cast? I don't look like somebody who's like this specific thing or that specific thing. Every time I get into the room, I feel like people don't know what to do with me. I feel like after 2020 and the events of George Floyd, I became very much a person who is more of an advocate for my culture instead of trying to make himself more palatable. And in me staying who I am more, I've been able to book so much. You know what I mean? Like me believing in myself and how much I can bring without having to add to myself or change myself as much, I've been able to be successful because that's what people connect to, is the authenticity. You know, I think I underestimated that before out of intimidation because I didn't see myself reflected as much. Shout out Anthony Ramos. But
no, like partly, like we will never forget for Jasmine. I'm so sorry, Jasmine Cephas Jones. Like
do what you need to do, my boy. But I'm joking.
But the thing is, you're not
at all. But surrounding myself with people who accept me for who I am and being in spaces unapologetically for who I am, instead of seeing it as a handicap.
You really ate that. Besides the Anthony stuff, agreed with everything that was said.
Took some time.
And I have to know, I think something that's so important, or even to recognize and to learn, is like, you know, as young people, you know, there's so much change going on, and even like how you just mentioned, like you have to surround yourself and be in the proper spaces. Like, what advice would you give to those who are like maybe struggling with finding those proper spaces, or like even like how do you go out and find those spaces, because it can be very challenging.
That's very, very difficult, because I remember in California, when I first got to California, because I'm from New York, I went to college in California. When I first got to California, I was like, yo, where are my people at? Like I was like, oh, okay, different culture, where are my artists at? Where can we go to jam sessions? Like, I'm used to having this on lock back home. Where's it at? It definitely took some time to develop. I would say be brave and go to spaces that you wouldn't normally go, even if it's by yourself at first. You know what I mean? If you go to an event by yourself, make sure you meet at least one new person that day.
Ooh, that's good.
I was told when I went to college, I was like, my man, shout out my man Van. He said, every day meet one person, and that's how you build friends. Don't go back to your dorm room until you've made genuine friends with at least one person. So go to these spaces by yourself. It's gonna be a little bit of a hassle. Y'all know how it is. All right, grow up. Go to these spaces by yourself. Make one genuine friend, just one, and bring that with you. They'll invite you to their places. You'll invite them to, you know what I mean? You have resources that you can provide. You have skills that you can provide. They have resources and skills that they can provide for you.
Yeah.
So take advantage of what you can offer.
Wow, and this guy right here offering a lot. So again, with you being like the definition of a multi-hyphenate when it comes to like the performance space, and just like, you know, life again, can cook and can clean and has a ring. So
Never folds.
Ridiculous. But what is it that you want to or hope to do, or even like a piece of work that you really want to do? Because I think it's cool to know people's like goals and stuff.
You know, that's very interesting, because I feel like as of recently, I've been exposed to levels of work that I previously wasn't privy to, that like it could exist in that magnitude. So I had this conversation with myself about a month ago where I was like, I am not dreaming big enough, because I didn't know the limits of what I could have dreamt. So as of right now, the venues, the projects, they're still being worked out in my mind, in my venue, in my mind.
The venue of your mind.
The venue of my mind.
Yes.
And so I will say, however, the performer that I want to become, the person that I want to become, is somebody who is capable of producing moving work in any medium at any time. I'm not saying somebody who's fearless, because I'm not afraid of being afraid, you know what I mean? I think that's awesome. Like, to not be afraid ever, like to be at a point where you're so good that you're not afraid, is almost like boring.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
like just a god. Like, you see how like gods get bored, so that's why they started wars and stuff like that. But
I don't want that. I want to still be challenged.
Yeah.
But I do want an arsenal of capability where I can literally feel like I can tackle anything. That's the type of person that I want to be.
Brandon Borkowski, everyone. That was stunning. Any like final closing words?
I was trying to sing 16 Carriages, but I was like, I can't think of a single lyric.
Run away.
I cook and clean and I fold too.
No. It's, you don't fold.
In New York, yeah.
What?
Concrete jungle.
Wet green tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Oh,
There's, like, nothing
yeah.
we cannot do. Cause we're where?
In New York.
And we're what?
New Yorkers?
No, walking here.
Oh, okay.